Hi, everyone. I'm David Wojcik, and this is an MBOT TV Zoomcast. Today, we discuss the USMCA and can Canada survive without it? CUSMA, USMCA, or NAFTA, whatever you call it, our free trade agreement with the United States and Mexico is in jeopardy. Or is it? Prior to NAFTA, we had a trade agreement with the United States, our largest trading partner. Then in 1994, NAFTA replaced that agreement and brought Mexico into the mix. Under President Trump, NAFTA was replaced by the USMCA, which he called a great agreement at the time. The agreement was to be reviewed every 6 years until it expires in 2036. It now faces a review deadline of July 1st, 2026, and if not officially renewed, we devolve into an annual review until it expires. So, can Canada survive without the USMCA? To help us with the discussion is Dean Wood. Dean is the founder of BorderWorks, a company that actively engages with U.S. and Canada trade legislators, Canada Board Services Agency, and Customs and Border Protection on the U.S. side. Dean is a trusted authority on navigating complex regulatory landscapes while ensuring industry stakeholders are informed and connected. And he joins us today. Welcome, Dean.
Well, thank you, David. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on this subject. It's a hot button for a lot of people.
It's a hot one for sure. Absolutely. Dean, when we look at CUSMA or USMCA or whatever people want to call it these days, there's a lot of hype around. There's panic that all of a sudden on July 1st something bad's going to happen, or something is already bad has already happened. Dean, set us straight on this. Has there been any material change to the way we do business with our largest trading partner, over the last, since President Trump was elected?
Right. Well, thank you, David. Well, certainly there is a lot of conversation around the USMCA and even working outside of it, because with some of the tariffs we've seen imposed since the new administration has come in, they are in a direct conflict to USMCA. And there is obviously some court issues that are working through the courts in terms of being able to determine whether or not those extra tariffs are actually valid or not. But just to put it into context, the USMCA services 500 million people, and the USMCA represents 30% of the global GDP. This is substantial. This is the largest economic area in the world, and it's why everyone wants to do business in this area. So it's in 2024, we had $1.93 trillion of business transacted in our three countries. This is a very positive agreement, and I will tell you that since it started with the new USMCA, with President Trump putting it in his last administration, we have seen the interregional growth of trade grow by 37%. This is a very good situation, and everybody wants this situation. What you're experiencing right now is negotiating tactics. You want to be the biggest player in the room. You want to have the levers to be able to pull to get your agreement the way that you want. And I think you're seeing some of that happen, but we've seen a 16% growth in foreign investment as a direct result of having the USMCA. And all of that based on speaking with people from the Center of Strategic and International Studies in Washington, D.C. They tell us that that's all at risk while this uncertainty is happening. And so there's a lot of backroom discussions on how to bring the temperature down and to get this sorted out. And you're right, we're facing a July 1st deadline where the parties have to discuss it and make a decision in the next 12 months on whether or not they want to extend it or they want to sunset it and let it wind down. Yeah.
Now, what happens over the course of time from July 1st, 2026 until 2036 when the agreement expires? Is there any material change? I know that we then go into an annual review rather than a 6-year review, but does anything material change? Does the agreement reduce in some way? Do tariffs come in? Is there any material change to the agreement in the 10 years henceforth?
There technically is not. They have 1 year in which to decide, the three parties, if they want to renew the agreement for 16 years. And that means it puts it to bed. Everybody's happy. We do business as normal for those 16 years. But there's a couple of caveats in the USMCA that give some people some out. Number one, there's a 60-day clause that a partner could say, I'm leaving. And that means in 60 days, the world goes into turmoil, or at least our world goes into turmoil. But
Right.
if they don't agree, if one of the parties can't agree in this next 12 months, basically July for 12 months, if they can't agree to collectively to extend it, then yes, every single year we're going to go through this exercise where we want to keep it or we don't want to keep it and how it's going to be renewed, which means it does introduce the opportunity for changes. The agreement already has a provision that changes can be introduced. And one of the benefits of this new agreement is that the mechanism for dispute is a lot better than the old one. The old one, if all three parties wouldn't form a committee, you could never get your dispute solved. The new one, the committees are automatic. And so disputes have actually taken place, a lot of U.S. disputes, 37 of them, to factories in Mexico who have not paid their employees correctly based on the auto pact that they wanted to do and all of those things. And it's worked out very, very well. So to say that there's zero chance of a risk, the best scenario would be the three parties get together, hammer out a new agreement, and extend it for the 16 years. That's the best scenario, but there's a lot of caution in the industry and the political will of people willing to put that on the line to say that that can happen.
Some have suggested, as you alluded to, that this is merely negotiation tactics, that there is, virtually no chance that this economic zone is going to disintegrate over the course of the next year. There's just too much at risk. We are far too integrated between the three countries in order to just say, okay, everybody take your marbles and go home. What's your opinion on that?
I fully agree with that. I believe that try to deconstruct the integrated supply chain, for instance, a circuit board that is going to be put into a car seat that is going to move an automatic seat crosses the Canada-US border 8 times during its manufacturing process. How are you going to take that apart, build the necessary factories in the United States to reshore all of that work? It's not going to happen. And I can tell you the overall cloud from this is China has always been the biggest threat. You saw the reaction when Prime Minister Carney has opened the door to Chinese EVs coming into Canada and the reaction from the United States. The United States has spent a great deal of time trying to push back on the growth that China is experiencing. So to take the largest trading partners, when you combine Canada and Mexico together, we outpace the trade with the United States than China does or anybody else. So therefore, you don't want to destroy that and leave an opening for a third party to start entering into the marketplace. Now, to express that in the media today would be expressing a weaker position. You're not going to hear that. But it's definitely something that's in the background and very much on the minds of all the people negotiating. There's been some very good things that's come out of this. Canada's sovereignty is much stronger. We are stronger as Canadians. We have a better footing on the world stage. And I believe we've got a strength to build on from that. So there's been some positives. It's just been a bit of a wake-up call for businesses by and large.
Dean, final question for you. Before USMCA, before NAFTA. We had a bilateral trade agreement with the United States. And before that, we didn't really have anything other than saying, yeah, we're going to do business together. The big question is, can Canada survive, or can the US survive without the type of free trade agreement that we have today?
I think it would be extremely difficult because of the preliminary inputs that go into our manufacturing. Yes, the auto sector is a huge and obvious one that crosses the border, but industrial components and our agribusiness is still huge, and it's still integrated across that border. It would be extremely difficult for the two economies to survive without that symbiotic relationship. And what I mean by that is a free trade agreement. If we're going to be dealing with tariffs, we're going to be dealing with added costs, and once again, opening the door to countries that subsidize industries to lower things. We have a lot of anti-dumping tariffs in place to prevent those countries from accessing the markets. Well, as the duties and the tariffs go up, those markets now become more rich for the opportunity for them to pirate into these economies. So I don't see it happening. My advice to Canadian businesses, as it always has been, they're the greatest friends we've ever had, the greatest partnership we've ever had. Keep your head down. We have got the best innovators that are out there. We send them the best hockey players, the best basketball players, and we've got the best industry players out there, and they know it. And they know it so well, they want us. They literally want us. So Canada's in a fantastic position. Keep your head up, smile, do what Canadians do well, and watch this play out. And I believe Canada's going to see economic growth like we've never seen. So there is certainly some uncertainty and some things that need to cool down. And I believe the right players are coming together to be able to do that. I am really hopeful for it.
And we look forward to more conversations with you, because there's lots more to talk about in the coming months on the CUSMA or USMCA deal. We've been in conversation with Dean Wood from Border Works. Dean, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. All the best.